If I wanted to become a millionaire in 2025, the very first thing I would do is get absolutely clear on what that means. Not a vague wish, not a casual intention. Clarity. I would sit down with a notebook, no distractions, and write the exact number I want to have by December 31, 2025. Not a lot of money, not a financial freedom, a number, a specific, measurable financial target. Let's say, $1 million net worth. Next, I would define what that net worth consists of. Is it cash in the bank? Is it real estate equity, stock investments, profits from a business? Because unless I know exactly what I'm aiming for, my actions will be scattered, reactive, and inconsistent. Every millionaire starts with a goal that is clear, written, and time-bound. Clarity gives direction. It gives focus. And most importantly, it eliminates distraction. The world is full of noise, but when you have a crystal clear financial target, your brain starts filtering opportunities based on that outcome. Suddenly, you stop wasting time on side hustles that don't scale or ideas that sound good but don't fit the plan. You develop what top performers call a millionaire filter, a mental lens that helps you ask, does this help me hit the number or not? With clarity, motivation becomes automatic. Waking up early, working late, learning new skills, all of it becomes easier when there is a burning specific target driving your behavior. You're no longer guessing. You're aiming. Every day begins with purpose and ends with measurable progress. If I wanted to become a millionaire in 2025, I would first train myself to think the way millionaires think. Before any dollar is earned, before any investment is made, before any strategy is executed, wealth starts in the mind. The way you think about money, time, effort, and value determines whether or not you will ever create and keep wealth. And the truth is, most people are trained to think like employees, not entrepreneurs, like consumers, not creators, like spenders, not investors. That mindset has to be upgraded. The first shift I'd make is taking 100% responsibility for my financial life. No excuses, no blaming the economy, no pointing fingers at my background or circumstances. Millionaires believe they are the cause of their outcomes, not the effect of outside forces. They don't sit around waiting for conditions to be perfect. They act, they adjust, and they keep going. If I truly wanted to become a millionaire, I'd eliminate any trace of victim thinking and replace it with ownership. Because when you take responsibility, you take control. Next, I would reframe how I view money itself. Millionaires don't chase money. They attract it by creating value. They understand that money is a reward for solving problems, serving people, and delivering results. So instead of asking, how can I make money fast? I would ask, what skill can I master that solves a real problem for people? That's how they think. Money doesn't come from hoping or hustling endlessly. It comes from building something that makes life better for others. That shift alone would separate me from 90% of the population. I would also train myself to think in terms of leverage. Millionaires don't just work harder, they work smarter. They use systems, people, capital, and technology to multiply their output. One person working 8 hours a day has a ceiling. But one person who builds a system, hires talent, or automates processes has no ceiling. The average person trades time for money. The millionaire builds something that earns money even when they're sleeping. I'd start to look at every opportunity through that lens. Can this be repeated? Can this be automated? If not, it's a job, not a wealth-building vehicle. Another mental shift is long-term thinking. Millionaires are patient and strategic. They don't make emotional decisions with money. They don't panic in a downturn or blow their cash on shiny toys when things go well. They play the long game. If I wanted to become a millionaire in 1 year, I'd have to train myself to delay gratification and stay focused on the big picture. That might mean skipping vacations, reinvesting profits, or saying no to short-term pleasures. But millionaires understand that discipline today creates freedom tomorrow. I would also start thinking like an investor, not just an earner. Millionaires don't keep all their money in a savings account. They make their money work for them. They study wealth, how it grows, how it compounds, and how to protect it. Even if I started with $100, I'd treat it like capital. I'd ask, how can I turn this into $120, then $150, then $150, then $300? Thinking like a millionaire means seeing every dollar as a seed, not just a reward. Lastly, I would build my identity around growth. Millionaires are not just after money. They're obsessed with personal development. They read, they learn, they ask questions, they surround themselves with smarter people. They stay curious, humble, and hungry. The moment I start thinking I already know enough, or this is good enough, I've already lost. Identify high income skills. If I wanted to become a millionaire in 2025, I wouldn't rely on luck, inheritance, or slow accumulation. I would focus all my energy on mastering high income skills, because in today's economy, your skill set is your capital. The right skill, developed with focus and depth, can unlock opportunities, increase your value, and multiply your income faster than almost anything else. Millionaires don't just work hard, they work smart by learning skills that pay well, solve real problems, and give them leverage. The first step is to understand what makes a skill a high income. It's not about what's trendy or glamorous. It's about what produces results for others. High income skills solve expensive problems. If a business can make or save tens of thousands, or even millions, from someone's expertise, they're willing to pay accordingly. That's the foundation. A high-income skill directly contributes to a company's revenue, growth, or efficiency. So what are examples of these skills? Some of the most powerful ones include sales, copywriting, digital marketing, coding, public speaking, high-ticket closing, investing, data analysis, and branding. These are skills that companies, entrepreneurs, and even large markets are willing to pay a premium for. But more important than the exact skill is the commitment to master it at a level most people never reach. It's not about knowing a little. It's about becoming excellent, so your work becomes undeniable. If I were starting from scratch, I would look at the intersection of three things: what the market needs, what I'm naturally curious about, and what has the potential to scale. Let's say I choose sales. That skill alone is one of the fastest paths to building wealth because it creates direct, measurable value. A skilled salesperson can close high-ticket deals, earn commissions, and create business partnerships. The beauty of sales is that it's transferable. Once you know how to sell a product, service, or idea, you can apply that to any industry. Or maybe I'd go into copywriting, the ability to write words that persuade people to take action. That skill powers advertisements, websites, email campaigns, and product launches. Great copywriters are responsible for generating millions of dollars in revenue, and they often work remotely, set their own rates, and scale through agencies or digital products. The same goes for digital marketing, especially paid traffic and conversion optimization. Those who can turn $1 into $5 through online campaigns are in constant demand. If I'm more technically inclined, I might learn software development, automation, or AI integration. In a world increasingly driven by tech, those who can build tools, platforms, or solutions have leverage built into their skill. They can create products that scale, consult for startups, or build apps that serve thousands without trading time for money. But it's not just about learning the skill. It's about getting real-world feedback. I would start small freelancing, offering services to local businesses, partnering with others. Because real clients and real results are what separate amateurs from professionals. High-income skills aren't about degrees or certificates. They're about outcomes. Outcomes. Can you produce a result that matters to someone else? That's the standard. I would also find a mentor, coach, or community that specializes in that skill. The fastest way to accelerate mastery is through proximity to people who are already doing it well. Watching tutorials or reading books is good, but working under someone who already earns 6 or 7 figures from the skill will fast-track the learning curve. I'd be willing to pay for access, because the return on that investment can be exponential. And once I have proof of skill, I would productize or scale it. That means packaging my skill into offers, consulting, coaching, digital products, or even launching my own business around it. One skill deeply mastered can become the foundation of $1 million path when it's combined with consistency, reputation, and leverage. Develop a daily action plan. If I wanted to become a millionaire in 2025, I wouldn't rely on bursts of motivation or vague intentions. I would create a clear, disciplined, and repeatable daily action plan. Because no goal, no matter how inspiring, will ever become reality without consistent execution. Big success isn't built in a day. It's built through what you do every single day. The secret is structure. Winners don't leave their days to chance. They engineer them. The first step would be to break down the annual goal into smaller, manageable parts. If the goal is to earn $1 million by the end of 2025, that's roughly $83,000 per month, or about $2740 per day. That number becomes the benchmark. It turns the abstract idea of becoming a millionaire into a measurable, trackable target. From there, I'd reverse engineer the income. What activity or business model could realistically generate that? Is it consulting, e-commerce, content monetization, real estate, digital product? Whatever the path, it needs to align with the target. And then the daily actions have to reflect that strategy. A millionaire plan starts with a millionaire routine. I would structure each day with purpose, not just hope. That begins the night before. I'd plan my priorities before going to bed, so I wake up knowing exactly what needs to happen. No checking notifications, no reacting to other people's agendas. The first 90 minutes of my morning would be focused on my highest leverage task. The one thing that, if completed daily, would move me closer to my income goal. If I chose a skill-based path, that means studying world-class examples, practicing techniques, and actually putting offers into the market. Not just passive consumption, but active creation. If I were building a business, I'd block off time for outreach, lead generation, content creation, or whatever directly fuels revenue. Every block of time in my day would be tied to a specific result, not just an activity. I'd also install tracking into my routine. Millionaires don't guess, they measure. I would track key performance indicators every single day. How many offers did I make? How many offers did I make? How many people did I contact? How many pieces of content did I publish? How much revenue did I generate? Without numbers, there's no feedback. And without feedback, there's no growth. Data turns effort into improvement. It helps you double down on what's working and cut out what's not. Part of the daily plan would include skill development. Just like a professional athlete trains every day, I would train my mind and my craft. That could be 30 minutes of reading on marketing, psychology, or investing. Or reviewing what the top performers in my field are doing and modeling their strategies. Personal growth isn't optional. It's part of the plan. It's what allows today's efforts to produce tomorrow's income at a higher level. Another non-negotiable would be health and energy management. You can't build wealth on a weak body or a tired mind, so I'd schedule time for exercise, hydration, and meals that fuel performance. I'd eliminate low-energy habits, scrolling aimlessly, staying up late, or consuming negativity. Millionaire results require millionaire energy, and that starts with discipline in how you take care of yourself physically and mentally. Lastly, I'd install reflection into the daily plan. At the end of the day, I'd review what I accomplished, where I fell short, and what needs to be adjusted. This turns each day into a feedback loop, where improvement becomes inevitable. Momentum is not a feeling, it's a pattern of action, review, and refinement. The more intentional the pattern, the faster the results compound. Invest. Don't just earn if I wanted to become a millionaire in 2025. I would focus not only on how much money I earn, but more importantly on how I use that money. Earning is essential, but earning alone does not build wealth. Plenty of people make 6 figures or more every year and still live paycheck to paycheck. Why? Because they consume everything they earn. The real shift, the wealth-building shift, comes when you stop seeing income as the end goal and start seeing it as fuel for investment. That's the difference between someone who stays in the rat race and someone who builds lasting wealth. The first thing I would do is change how I treat every dollar that comes in. Instead of asking, what can I buy with this? I'd ask, how can I grow this? That question changes everything. It forces discipline. It removes emotional spending. It creates space between impulse and action. It puts my money to work. Because if money is just sitting in a checking account or being used to finance a lifestyle upgrade every time income rises, it's not an asset. It's a liability in disguise. It's a liability in disguise. I'd begin with a simple system. For every dollar I earn, I'd allocate a percentage toward investments before anything else. Not after expenses, not after vacations. First. This is the principle of paying yourself first. It could start small, maybe 20%, maybe 30%, but it would be automatic and non-negotiable. That amount would be directed toward vehicles that grow in value, generate income, or both. The first place I'd invest is in my own education. Not traditional schooling, but strategic learning. Courses, books, mentors, masterminds, anything that increases my ability to produce results faster, better, and at a higher level. The ROI on personal development is often faster and greater than any stock or real estate deal, especially early in the journey. Because once you raise your earning potential, every hour you work becomes more valuable. Every opportunity becomes more profitable. Next, I'd invest in income-producing assets. That could be dividend-paying stocks, index funds, digital products, intellectual property, or real estate, assets that pay you over time. I'd avoid flashy gambles or speculation. Millionaires protect their downside. They think about risk management. So I would focus on steady compounding growth. The goal is to create multiple streams of income where money flows in even when I'm not working. That's the foundation of freedom. If I were building a business, I'd invest in systems, things that automate processes, free up my time, and scale my results. That might mean hiring a virtual assistant, using paid traffic to generate leads, or buying software that enhances productivity. Investing in leverage isn't a luxury. It's a multiplier. It's what turns a one-person operation into a scalable machine. I would also keep a portion of my capital liquid, ready for opportunities. One of the advantages of thinking like an investor is being prepared when others aren't. Recessions, market dips, and business slowdowns aren't just problems, they're discounts for those who are ready. But you can't take advantage if you've spent everything or locked up all your cash. Liquidity is power. I'd keep a war chest for smart plays, strategic partnerships, or undervalued assets. Just as important, I'd track the performance of every dollar. Investors measure. They know where their money is going, what it's doing, and how it's performing. I'd review my investments monthly, adjust where needed, and make data-driven decisions. That kind of intentionality adds up. Over time, even modest investments can grow into large returns, not just financially, but in confidence, control, and choices. Build. Don't chase if I wanted to become a millionaire in 2025. I would make one crucial decision early on. I would commit to building something valuable, rather than chasing quick money. There's a massive difference between the two. Chasing is reactive. It's jumping from trend to trend, opportunity to opportunity, hoping one will hit big. Building, on the other hand, is proactive. It's choosing a lane, committing to mastery, and developing a foundation that compounds over time. People who chase might get temporary wins, but people who build create lasting wealth, freedom, and impact. The modern world is filled with distractions disguised as opportunities. Every day there's a new side hustle, a new crypto token, a viral business model, or an overnight success story. And it's tempting, especially when you want to hit your goal fast. But the truth is, chasing trends keeps you stuck at the starting line. Every time you switch paths, you reset your progress. You burn time and energy without building momentum. Millionaires don't move that way. They're strategic. They build ecosystems around long-term thinking. I'd begin by choosing what to build. That means selecting one core vehicle, a business, a skill-based offer, a brand, or a platform, and going deep instead of wide. Building doesn't mean doing everything. It means doing the right thing consistently until it grows strong enough to support other layers. For example, instead of trying to flip NFT, trade stocks, launch a Shopify store, and start coaching all at once, I'd choose one model, let's say a high-ticket service business, and commit to it for 12 months. I'd refine the offer, build the systems, and scale through marketing and referrals. That's how you create assets that grow. What you build should have leverage. Leverage means your results grow faster than your effort. That could be through code, content, capital, or people. For instance, writing a blog post or creating a YouTube video might take hours, but it can attract leads and revenue for years. Compare that to cold calling every day with no residual return. One is chasing, the other is building. Millionaires ask, how can I create once and benefit many times? That mindset drives everything they do. I'd also focus on building an audience or network. Something that doesn't disappear when a platform changes or an algorithm shifts. People buy from those they trust. Whether it's through email lists, communities, social media, or partnerships, I'd consistently invest in relationships and visibility. A loyal audience is one of the most valuable assets anyone can build in the digital age. It lowers acquisition costs, boosts referrals, and opens doors that money alone can't buy. Part of building is documenting. Systems, processes, workflows, everything I do that works, I would record and refine. That's what turns effort into an asset. If I have to be present for every transaction, I don't own a business, I own a job. But if I build systems, I can hire others, delegate, or automate without losing quality. This is how millionaires scale. They remove themselves from the center of every operation and let their systems work even when they're not there.